April was a slow month for real estate sales here in Waterloo region. I'm going to tell you all about it starting right now. So we had 692 sales in April. That's slow, although we were up from the 660 we had last year. So an improvement, I think it was 3 or 4% on sales volumes. But you look at last April and this April and compared that to the 10-year moving average, this month past was the third slowest month we've had in that 10-year period. The number one spot, of course, for that was April 2020. The government had shut the province down completely, so no surprise that was slow. But you look at this April, you look at last April, they are slow relative to that 10-year average. Now, from a standpoint of being a buyer, this is actually really, really good news because we've got, of course, a fair bit of unsold inventory on market now. We're pretty much in neutral or balanced market territory, right at the cusp of around 3 months worth of inventory. What that means simply is the sold to list ratio, that's staying closer to 100%. You've got less bidding wars, less craziness, less coming in with zero conditions. And from a buying standpoint, that's definitely good news. I mean, the other side of the coin for sellers, it's not terrible, but you're not getting the kind of huge premiums that you were seeing in 2021, 2020, and the early part of 2022. That ship has definitely sailed. But yeah, the market's balanced. That's not a bad thing. Now, talking about pricing activity, across Waterloo region as a whole, the market was mostly flat, ups and downs here and there. But when you look at a city by city basis, it's actually surprising. We've had a considerable amount of volatility. Now, I'm going to start off with the city of Waterloo. City of Waterloo detached prices jumped by $100,000, $105,000 last month. We are sitting just over $1.1 million right now for detached in Waterloo. Semis, on the other hand, they dropped. Semis were down 6%, as I said, on a month-over-month basis. They came in right at $641,000. You look at that, and last year we were down 5% on a year-over-year basis. The other two segments in Waterloo, they were both up, just like detached. Townhouses, $705,000. That's up 3% compared to March, and we're up 5% on a year-over-year basis. Apartment-style condos, they're up as well. They're up 9% on a year-over-year basis and up 7% month-over-month. So they came in at $559,000. So definitely a good month for Waterloo aside from semis. Taking a look at Kitchener. Kitchener was the exact opposite situation. Every single segment in Kitchener was down. I think one part of it was flat. So I'll give you the numbers there. Kitchener detached came in at $880,000. That's down 7% month over month and down 3% on the year. Semis were down 3% month over month, 3% year over year. They came in at $668,000. Kitchener townhouses down as well, down 3% month over month, 4% on the year. They came in at $622,000. Lastly, I'm going to finish up with apartment-style condos. We were flat on a month-over-month basis and down 6% on the year. They came in at $429,000. I'm going to finish up with the City of Cambridge. City of Cambridge, this was the outlier in an odd way. It was almost completely flat, no changes at all really, and if you did have changes, they were like 1%. So Cambridge was quite a shock. So talking about detached, we'll start there. They came in at $848,000, down 2% on the year, 2% on the month. Semis, $657,000. They were flat month over month, down 1% on the year. Cambridge Towns, flat month over month, down 1% on the year, $681,000. And then lastly, I'm going to finish up with Cambridge apartment-style condos. They took a hit. Last month to March, they were down 13%, but flat on the year. They came in at $497,000. Now, I just want to talk about this. I think it was an anomaly because I remember looking at the March data for apartment-style condos, and there was a big pop upward of around 60,000 bucks. And I remember that sticking out. It was only a few sales. I think they had 13 units sold in March, and you saw this jump from around 500 grand to 560 or 570. So I think that March was actually the odd month, and this month, April, coming in at the price I quoted is actually what should be that normal range. Anyways, that's what's going on with prices. I'll finish up by just talking about what I think the market's going to do right now. As I mentioned in my last couple of videos, this whole thing about doing a rate decrease, that's looking like they're pushing that further and further into the future. And if you look at the Federal Open Market Committee meeting they had just the other day, they kept their rates flat. This is what we did at the Bank of Canada meeting on April 10th, also flat. A rate decrease is coming, but it's not going to be soon. I think it's going to be later, I don't know, midsummer, end of summer, the fall. Certainly anybody talking about a rate decrease coming early spring or early summer, back in December, people were saying that's not going to happen. I think what's going to go on is we're going to continue with the slowness that we've really seen for the past 2 years since they raised rates significantly. That's made it harder to buy and sell, and people are sitting on the sidelines waiting to see what the government's going to do next. Not the end of the world, just slower than it normally is. Anyways, that's all I got for you today. Thanks so much for watching, and have yourself a fantastic day.